While the markets are holding up all right, we're definitely not at the high point of the day. We began the day with exuberance and now we've definitely tapered off. Dow futures have also fallen a little bit since the morning. But Kunal, what are your high risk and low risk ideas for today?
Morning, Varun. So the markets have scaled down a bit after opening, on a much stronger note. What the SGX 50 had indicated was probably, an expectation that the markets could open, full throttle on the upside. But nevertheless, I think it's been a decent, market run. So we are bound to go through a consolidation phase on the, index. But my concentration in terms of the picks today is more towards the defensive names, and I picked up the two key sectors, which is the IT and the farm and the FMCG space. So I think both these sectors and individual names into these stocks, they look fairly attractive. So I picked up two names. First one is a band Wipro. Now I've been very very bullish on the stock earlier as well, and I maintained the bullish stance on the stock even from a longer term perspective. But what's intriguing is on the short term charts, there are some strong swing breakouts on Wipro on the daily time frame. So the stock at 444, 445, I think looks attractive for another 20 rupees on the upside. As a near-term trader, one could look at a target of 465, and stop loss could be kept at 435, and one could probably try and trail the stop losses higher as now the stock assumingly moves up on the upside. The second one is about HUL. Now, interesting because the stock after quite some time is showing signs of strong breakout on the daily as well as on the weekly charts. The previous resistance for HUL was just about that 2500 mark, and we've seen a lot of these other FMCG names as well picking up decent pace. So I would expect HUL to at least retest its previous high, if not scale above that as well. So buy with a target of 2500, and stoppers could be kept at 2400.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Ashish, good morning. What's on your radar today?
I think markets definitely looking little, top heavy, and I think one has to be very careful. So in terms of a careful idea, I have United Spirits. I think my rationale for buying into this is that within the consumption space, hasn't moved much. The rationale for buying into United Spirits is very simple because alcohol is one consumption item which is seeing a very secular growth in India. The company is a leading by a huge margin player in this market, owned by now Diageo, which is an international leader in global spirits business. So very strong management, very clear leadership in place, with a very good distribution network, a very good number of brands. Also planning to introduce more profit lines, which really means more brands and more brand extensions. They have got rid of most of their unrelated businesses. The working capital, which was an issue earlier, has seen steady improvement. So I think most of the concerns are behind us. Going forward, a very clear MNC growth stock in the consumption space. Here we have a target here of 950, which is about 50% upside from the current levels. So, and I don't see much of any downside happening because all the concerns, whether it was the internal or external regarding prohibition, have all been factored in. So clearly good idea, low downside risk and a good upside potential. The second one is Motilal Oswal Financial Services. This one is a bit riskier because linked to the market. But here again, the re-rating which is happening looks very real. The stock underperformed due to the market and also due to concerns on their home finance company, as well as shrinking margins in broking, as well as asset management underperformance. All those concerns have been addressed. The asset management business is doing very well. The SIP inflow is very strong, about 130 crores. The number of new funds which have been introduced, like Nasdaq fund and US fund of funds, are doing fairly well. Stockbroking, they continue to remain a very strong player. They are the 11th largest stockbroking firm in India, and pretty strong in advisory business, as well as the home finance. The concerns have been addressed. The NPAs are now shrinking. So all these things put together, if you do a sum of parts valuation, it is available at a very attractive valuation, and we have a target here of 1000, which is a very significant upside from the current levels. A bit risky because if the markets do go in for a significant correction, then again this is a market linked stock. But if you are willing to take the chance, I think the upside potential is huge. So these are the two ideas which I have for the day.